It is now time for Cowboys color analyst Babe Laufenberg. Every Thursday at this time, brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness Home Fitness Equipment Stores. As last week, I completely destroyed Peyton Russell's streak of winning Babe's rigged trivia questions. Let's see if I can go back-to-back with Laufenberg this morning. Good morning. What do you got?
Good morning, and I'm so tired of the rigged elections, the rigged trivia question. I mean, this is all on the
Very unfair. Very unfair.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Good morning, first off, gentlemen.
Oh, good morning.
Okay, Bryce Young, right? Taken number 1 overall from Alabama. Name me the other Alabama players taken number 1 overall. Not just the first-round pick. I mean the first pick in the draft. Give me the others.
Choppy, Namath did not go 1.
Namath
right?
went number 1 in the AFL draft.
Well, I'm going to say the common draft era. Yes, the common draft, where after the merger of the AFL and the NFL.
I'm going to say this is a trick question, and there's no other Alabama players that went 1.
Sean, is that 2 weeks in a row for you?
I'm down $40 now.
Heck yeah.
Is that amazing, though, that Alabama, with all the football success for the last half century, Bryce Young was the first guy to go. Now, they've only had one guy taken number 2 in the draft, just one player. Do you know who that is?
Okay.
It wasn't Trent.
Trent was the 3rd overall pick, right?
Not Julio. The defensive player.
So
Can you tell us offense or defense?
Defense.
This is 2nd overall we're talking now?
Yes, 2nd overall.
2nd overall.
Wait a second.
Peyton, why don't you tell us?
Who was the Bills guy, that the Buffalo defensive? No, it wouldn't be.
Who is it?
Was it?
Well, let's go to the expert. Is Peyton on?
Yeah, it is defense. I'm thinking linebacker here.
Yes.
Okay. Do y'all know Cornelius Bennett?
That's it. That's
1987. That's got to be him, right? He was 2nd overall.
Buffalo Bills.
Did he play for Buffalo? I told you. I said it.
Daryl Talley, Cornelius Bennett on the 90s Bills teams. Peyton, you son of a bitch.
I love it. Okay, so that was 1987. Peyton, if you're Mr. Smarty Pants, who was taken number 1 overall in that draft?
Surely it's got to be.
I think
You want to go, RJ?
was that Vinny's draft?
It was Vinny Testaverde.
Very nice. We all get a point here.
All right.
Choppy knows
Way to go, guys.
Testaverde. Thank you, Babe Laufenberg on the Boomer Jacks Bar and Grill Hotline. What did you think of Bryce Young coming out, and what are you seeing from him on tape that apparently has Frank Reich in hot water?
I loved everything about him except for his size, and that was a huge drawback for me because you're looking at an outlier. You just don't have a lot of 5'10", skinny-framed quarterbacks.
So, Babe, Kyler Baker's rookie year did not change your mind about the bigger quarterbacks?
Well, Kyler has a stronger arm.
Yeah.
Kyler has he has an NFL arm. Kyler ran 4.3. I don't know if he ever actually ran, but you guys have seen him. He is the fastest guy on the field. Bryce Young is not that guy. So Kyler brought something to the table that Bryce Young did not. It's funny when you watch the games, right? You guys, everybody's played 3-on-3 basketball at some point in their lives. You go down to the gym, and you need a guy. So you tell your little brother, "Hey, come on out. We need a guy. You just come out and play some defense and try to get in somebody's way." With Bryce Young, he just looks like that guy, doesn't he? Where you say, "Hey, we need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, you come on over. Let's play." But it's been a struggle. But he's obviously very early in his career. He's played 8 games and all that. And, the Cowboys will see him again next year because they play the NFC South. So might be a little bit of a different quarterback. But again, when you're talking the first pick in the draft, to me, you don't go with the outlier. C.J. Stroud was my guy that I liked coming out, and obviously didn't know he'd do what he has done. Matter of fact, I'm friendly with Josh McCown, the quarterback coach for Carolina, and I texted him before the draft and just said hello and congratulations. I think he's going to be a heck of a coach. But I said, I know you don't want my opinion, but C.J. Stroud is my guy. And Houston is happy that he didn't listen to me.
Now, this kind of ties into what Brian Schottenheimer was talking about the other day, right?
Which is?
The development of quarterbacks
Oh, yeah, just talking about, he said it's the most difficult position in all of sports to play, and there's just no question about it. It just takes so much of everything. And I pitched a little bit, baseball.
Oh.
Baseball pitcher, you throw the ball when you want to, right? If you don't like the ball, you throw it back to the ump. They give you a new ball. Football, have you ever seen a quarterback take a snap and feel it and go, these seams are a little bit funky. Let's get a new football for this throw. I don't like this. And in baseball, you throw the ball when you want to. I know we have a pitch clock now. Football, you have about 2.5 seconds to figure out where you're going with the ball. You got people in front of you. It's just hard. And I always preface anything I say to Brad Sham before I critique the quarterback play of that day. And I say, Brad, where is it easy to play quarterback from? And I always say it's two easiest places, right, are 200 feet in the air where we get to sit and see everything, and your living room where you've got this controlled environment. We all look, and then we see a replay, and they say, how did he miss that guy? But it gets tough. It gets tough out there. And, Bryce Young's experiencing some of that because you can say all you want about the SEC. It's not close to what you go through in the NFL. It's just not close.
Babe, what have you noticed differently about the McCarthy offense since the bye week?
Definitely appears to be, and I haven't looked at all the Pro Football Focus and Next Gen stats and all, but, they've got more motion involved in it. That seemed to be after the bye, as you mentioned. I think they went in, they did all their self-scouting, and I think they thought, let's try a little motion. They came out with a lot of motion against the Rams in the first game back. Very productive, and this offense has just been the last 3 weeks. Last week was against the Giants, and you can say what you will about the Giants, but that was just ridiculous. You do not have 640 yards of offense in an NFL game. The first half, they had 20 first downs. I think the NFL record is 40 by New Orleans, and it was set against the Cowboys. But they had 20 first downs, and the Giants had 1. That was just pathetic. And what's interesting, too, is, obviously Cowboy fans, and we all saw them play the Giants in week 1, and they beat them 40-0, and you said, wow, the Giants, that just may be the worst team in the NFL. And then they played the Jets next week, and they crushed them. And you said, oh, boy, the Jets, they're the worst team. And then they played New England, and they get Belichick his worst loss ever.
Wow.
And you said, man, New England may be the worst team. And then you come back from what we saw with the Giants, and you go back to, no, I think the original team we thought was the worst team probably is, and that would be the Giants. And what's the one common denominator? The Cowboys beat the out of all of them. So, the Cowboys have been playing really good football here.
Is this the best football Dak's played? And do you take style points because of the competition that, the Rams and the Giants aren't very good?
Obviously, that factors in, but there's a lot of teams playing bad football, and the other team is not putting up 640 yards, right? Dak has been pretty close to flawless, right? And I always say it's not a perfect game. If you just watched Monday night's game and watched Buffalo put 12 guys on the field to block a field goal, it's just not a perfect game. And but Dak has been pretty darn good since they've come out of the bye, and that includes the Philly game. I thought he played really great against Philadelphia. Now they came up short. We know what happened at the end, but I thought on a play-to-play basis he was outstanding. And what's funny too about the quarterback, we were talking earlier, hardest position in sports. People will say, well, it's not brain surgery. And I always say, no, it's harder than brain surgery. I can find 5 brain. If I had a brain tumor and I'm in a major city, I can find 5 brain surgeons I would feel comfortable going to operate on me. We have 32 cities that have NFL teams, right?
Yeah.
And we got about 15, I don't know, fill in the blank, 15 quarterbacks that you'd be happy to have as your guy?
Yeah, 15. According to Patrick 15. Walker, Josh Allen's 15. Yeah. Now, Babe.
Wait a minute. Sean, you just put Patrick Walker and
brain
Josh
surgery.
Allen in the same sentence?
Yeah, Patrick Walker says he's top
He said
10,
that
top
he goes,
15.
I could get him in the top 15. I wouldn't put him in my top 10, which I think is lunacy.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I don't know what. Honestly, I watched all that game, and I've watched probably 3 Buffalo games this year. Now Cowboys will get to see him in December, but I just don't know what's happened to Josh Allen. Daniel Jones was going along. Say what you will about him, but his turnovers. He had fewer each and every year, right? I mean, he was getting better at not turning the ball over each and every year. And you watch Josh Allen, and I mean, he's kind of regressed. But the new offensive coordinator will help all that out.
Will he?
I'm
being
kidding.
sarcastic.
I love the special teams guy. Coach has 12 guys on the field, and the offensive coordinator gets fired.
Why did Brandon Cooks suddenly explode?
Wow. What's funny about that is I think everybody that watched him, right, through camps and all that stuff and watched him really throughout his career, it's like, man, what has happened to Brandon Cooks? But I always defer to the coaches. I really do. I always defer to the coaches. They know more than we do. But I couldn't figure out why he wasn't getting the ball. And then all of a sudden he got the ball, right? He had 165 yards going in to that Giant game. He had 178 in that game alone. But, hey, to me, it's just one more threat that they've got in that offense, one more guy that the defense had to account for. And I think, up until that game, I don't know that defenses ever came in to the Cowboy game after week 3 or 4 and said, hey, we got to figure out a way to stop Brandon Cooks. But I think that changed a little bit. But, yeah, he was great in that game. Really liked him because I don't think you ever heard him complain, right, about not – matter of fact, you did hear him complain about not getting the ball. But, McCarthy says it all the time, and we all know it. There's one ball to go around. And I did like after the Philadelphia game where Dak threw for like 370, somebody brought up maybe it was Cooks even not getting the ball. And McCarthy was like, whoa, wait a minute. We just threw for 370 yards, and we're going to talk about a guy not getting the ball. So it does change week to week. It appears CD is going to get a bundle of them. But, it might be Gallup one week. Shoot, it could be Jalen Tolbert one week, but it could be Brandon Cooks one week, could be the tight end, could be Ferguson one week. But the constant appears to be CD Lamb, right? And then, it's going to be up and down as to who gets it from the other guys. But, yeah, Brandon Cooks played great, and one more guy for defenses to account for.